when he comes in to train, he comes in to train. He tries to be one of the first people on the mat. You know, when he steps into the ring, he's very well rounded. He listens very well, and he gives 100%. He's more apt to be, okay, I lost. Let's go back to, the drawing board and let's get better. Just overall, so it's kind of like his determination to keep going no matter what. But the kid gets stuck around, and I was like, man, this kid has a lot of heart.
And it's not even his own heart. Brock Marvin is a mixed martial artist with a very unique journey to the cage.
I mean, I was one of those guys that I was so into sports and so into fitness. I'd go to weightlifting class during the day, go to modified baseball practice early in the afternoon, and then stick around for varsity later on. I loved it. I was always doing something, whether it was soccer, basketball, baseball, and all my friends were doing the same thing.
But in 2008, Brock's life would change forever.
I was 13 years old, I think, and my brother and I were out back. We were just tossing a ball at the house. I don't remember anything after that.
At only 13, Brock had just had a heart attack.
I had flatlined a couple times in the hospital, and they put a defibrillator in my chest, and I lived with a defibrillator. I couldn't do anything other than play golf for almost 3 years, and that's when they said you're going to need a transplant.
In 2011, Brock was told he would receive a new heart.
I guess I was numb for a while. It was hard to process somebody cutting his heart out and putting some other heart in, or the fact that his heart wasn't good enough for medication to make it work so he could survive and live a normal life.
Brock's father stayed by his side the entire time.
My mom and dad were phenomenal. My dad basically stayed by my bed every day I was in the hospital. I mean, we had to move to Boston. That's where I had my transplant, and he'd sit there, watch TV with me, he'd go out and get me food. He was always rooting for me.
After the transplant, Brock began searching for inspiration.
When you're laying on your deathbed and all you want to do is go out and play soccer, I'm looking up on Google, college soccer player after transplant, baseball after all these things, and there really aren't that many results.
Then he found a name.
The one kid that really stood out to me was Jacob Lopez from Texas, and he ended up playing a year of college soccer or 2 years of college soccer. And I remember reaching out to him, and it was just so, whether or not he even responded to me, it was just so gratifying that, like, wow, this person exists and he is alive and he's doing this, and here I can do this too.
Only 6 months after the transplant, Brock was back on the field.
Got ready, played my senior year, and played in college. So yeah, soccer was the biggest thing. I mean, I hadn't even thought about mixed martial arts when I was waiting for the transplant. I hadn't thought about that at all.
In 2013, after playing college soccer, Brock's journey to the MMA would begin.
I was in my second year of college. I had taken a boxing class, Delgado's boxing gym in Atlanta, and I loved it. I was just totally enthralled with it. And I said, wow, this is incredible. And even I didn't know, should I be doing this? I have no idea. So I ended up asking my doctor, and she kind of went, sure.
At first, Brock's dad liked the idea of MMA.
I came and actually watched a little bit of it was a wrestling class or something I was in, and I remember my dad saying, yeah, I would have liked that. So at first they loved it. They're like, wow, kickboxing, this is great for your cardio, and this is such a great workout. Is the way they saw it.
Then he saw his son in a fight.
I thought he banged his head too hard playing soccer, maybe.
But Brock's father still supported him through it all.
I always knew he had the work ethic and the drive that if there was something he wanted bad enough, he would go after it. And this has been very similar in that he works very hard at it.
The transplant didn't stop Brock, but it did put life into perspective.
I try to always remind myself of what I went through, because a lot of times when I'm out here and I'm playing soccer or I'm training in here or doing whatever, I forget how much devastation I went through. I forget about it all the time. And sometimes I have to remind myself, Brock, slow down and take a deep breath and enjoy the sunshine and the fresh air, because, you know, it's not always going to be there. And I'm pretty lucky to have what I have now.
Part of the reason Brock keeps fighting is because he wants to be an inspiration for kids going through what he went through.
My brother and I are big advocates for organ donation too. But when you got a kid, like I said, you got a kid who's waiting for a transplant, or has some condition that's like super debilitating and they can't do anything, they are probably online looking for kids who went through something similar to what they're going through, and they want to see the success stories. So just it's huge. It's huge for me. It's huge for my brother too, to kind of serve as people that kids who are on their deathbeds can say, well, it's not over yet. It's not. So that's big for us.
As for Brock's future with mixed martial arts, he has no plans for slowing down.
I'm going to keep doing it until I see a reason not to. Once I have a reason not to, I'm so in love with this sport, it's ridiculous. I love it. So once I have a reason not to do it, you know, that's when I'll stop. But who knows?